Right. So, Tyson, is there anything that I haven't asked that I should have, or anything you want to discuss more?
Actually, when when you were asking me earlier about things that I did to prepare for the birth, in addition to that antenatal class, I also did a daddy boot camp, um, and I signed up for that like the day that we got that positive pregnancy test. um, and it's run by a local hospital, and it's run by fathers, newer fathers, and the whole purpose of it is to um, provide examples of what fatherhood looks like. And so this was done in the pandemic, and so normally it's in person. Because it's in the pandemic, it was through Zoom, which actually worked out really well for me because I was across the world. So I called in at like 3 a.m. in New Zealand time to participate in this daddy boot camp.
Yeah.
And in terms of the sort of explicit curriculum, which is to provide role models of fatherhood, and introduce dads to be to new dads who have kind of walked the walk already, that was helpful to a certain extent. Just watching these dads calm a crying baby and change a diaper and whatnot. But because I was no longer in that community, I wasn't able to make contacts with those people. It wasn't as helpful because of that.
Yeah.
But there was also an implicit curriculum to this daddy boot camp, which is to educate dads to be about shaken baby syndrome, which is the accidental traumatic brain injury of a baby caused by shaking.
Yeah.
Usually out of frustration. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fascinating. I haven't heard of that before, but it does make sense, especially just given how, kind of how little I guess we have like a lack of language and kind of culture around new fatherhood. It's changing now. I see a lot even on Instagram now and podcasts now about new dads, but there's just a lack of how to do these things, and at least in the States, and I can see that happening just out of frustration. It's probably happened a lot, and that's a really good practical kind of underpinning to that that course.
Since your audience is new dads, I think it's worthwhile sharing what I learned from that, which is that a baby is safer on the ground than in the arms of somebody who's overly frustrated. And so if you need to get away, if you need a break, you put your baby down in a safe space. And at that age, they're not mobile. And you make sure that they're safe, and you just walk away. And it's okay if they're crying.
It's one of those kind of simple solutions that's so simple it's easy to overlook. It's just like set the baby down, just put it down.
Yeah.
I remember early on, in the first. Even for each kid, just feeling like I needed to find a way to overcome my frustration while also holding my kiddos,
Yeah.
But just set them down. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Have you been able in New Zealand is there like a, community of dads there that you found, or how's that?
Yeah, we were very fortunate to get connected with a group of friends right off the bat. And that was actually through our midwife.
That's awesome.
And so we've had that friend support from the very beginning.